When you really boil it down, there's only 4 places to put your money. So how do you know which places are the right places for your money to go and how to best effectively use those in your retirement plan? Find out in this video which are the 4 places where to put your money and how they potentially work, the pros and the cons. Hey everyone, it's Logan Sadler. Thanks for stopping by for another edition of the Financial Beat YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe, as well as go ahead and head over and check out some of our other videos and take a visit on our website and check out our radio show if you haven't. Again, bringing you guys content each week here on the video series and on the radio. Appreciate the support. In today's video, I want to talk about something that I love to talk about. I love to talk about what are the areas where you should be putting your money, or what are the areas that are out there where people put their money. It really boils down to 4 different worlds. And we're going to cover those worlds in this video. Not getting super in depth. This is not investment advice for you. This is just kind of covering some of those different topics and those different worlds out there when it comes to where should we be putting money, or what are the options to put our money. I want to start with world 1. You have the banking world. Many of you guys know the banking world, right? We have CDs, you have checking accounts. Those are the places you put money that are traditional. They're typically more less risky. They typically don't make a lot of money, right? But that's the banking world. The banking world is, again, a very common one. It's where a lot of you guys put majority of your guys' money on a monthly basis. The next world, you have the insurance world. Some of you may be very fond of this world. Some of you may not know anything about it, but life insurance, annuities, that's a really big world where a lot of people put money in there, especially it becomes more of a used vehicle, I would say. As you're approaching retirement, it becomes a really big play into how you're going to use retirement income and safety and all that, and we'll dive more into it here. But the insurance world's a big one. Next, you have Wall Street. A lot of you guys know about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, all these different types of investments out there through those categories. The stock market world, Wall Street, is a very talked about world, and we're going to cover some of those other aspects. The next one I like to cover, the 4th one, is real estate. A lot of you guys out there might own a home, you might have rental homes, you might have commercial property. There's a lot of different ways to use real estate. It really boils down to 2 to me. It really boils down to active real estate and passive real estate. Those are the 2 most common forms of real estate. Each of your guys' monies, when we're putting money into an investment, it should have a goal. That may sound crazy to some of you. Some of you might say, well, the goal is obviously to grow it, right? Well, there's also different goals. Some of it's to grow it more aggressively, to grow it more conservatively. Some of you guys want extra liquidity. Sometimes you don't. So it really comes down to, what is the goal for this money? What is the time frame? And we're going to cover those 4 worlds, and I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons of each, because I always believe every investment out there has a pro and it has a con. I don't think, if you were hoping to watch this video and you were looking for what is the best one out there, they're all good and they're all bad depending on what situation you're using them for. They can all have a pro and a con. So let's take a dive in. The banking world. That is where you put money, where you're traditionally looking for no risk. You're typically looking for, you're not trying to earn a whole bunch of money in it. Nobody really gets rich off of CDs nowadays, right? That's where if a client comes in and says, listen, I want to put money somewhere for 6 months or a year. I want all of my money I put in out and maybe a little bit of interest, but I just want somewhere safe to put money. Traditionally, that has always been the bank. Again, not a real high earner. You're not going to get rich overnight in one of those bank accounts or a CDs, but they do serve a purpose of safe money, conservative money. Next, you have the insurance world. The insurance world is really a kind of a connection of the 2 worlds, in my opinion. The insurance world can be a great spot. When we're talking annuities, there's several different types of annuities out there that can be good, can be bad, depending on the situation. But most people go into the insurance world because you're looking for probably more growth than the CD, the banking world. Insurance companies typically do provide more growth, more upside. Some of them also have the same principal protection, meaning if the market loses money, you're not tied up in what the market's doing, you're in the insurance world. So it does have that principal protection. The cons of that is a lot of them aren't super liquid. So most annuities and life insurance products in general, like long-term care, life insurance, and annuities, those typically aren't super liquid. They sometimes have liquidity restraints where typically you put all your money in. Next month, if you don't want to take all your money out, there might be surrender charges or other types of implications in that product. Wall Street, when you look at stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, all those different types of accounts, of course, there's thousands of different stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and all that other stuff wrapped in there, but we're just kind of categorizing it in one world right now. Basically, those worlds, how they work is they're traditionally, you're betting on that going up, and you're okay with loss of principal. Typically, your principal will fluctuate depending on what type of investment you're on. Some of them are more speculative than others. Stocks and bonds are typically, stocks more often than not are where you're going for higher returns. When you're looking at stock mutual funds, equity mutual funds, you're looking for higher growth and you're okay with fluctuation. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, they typically do have higher liquidity. Okay, meaning if you need money out, they're typically pretty liquid. Within a couple days, you can get money out pretty quick. The con of that is they fluctuate. I know, meeting with a lot of you guys throughout the years, a lot of people aren't comfortable with all their money in the market or large portions of their money in the market, meaning they're not comfortable with all their money at risk, right? There is the potential for higher growth, but there's also potential for loss of principal or a loss, severe loss in some cases, depending on how aggressive or conservative you might be. The next is real estate. Some of you guys love real estate. I think it's a great asset class for some clients. I think it's a good fit. Some of you, it's not your cup of tea, right? Some of you don't want to own property. Active real estate, meaning you own something. You own a rental house, you own an apartment. There's passive real estate out there like real estate investment trusts is a popular one where you don't really actually own any physical land, but you're still involved in the real estate. I think all four of these are a great fit for some of your guys' retirement plans. What I always like to say is our biggest belief here, meeting with thousands of people here at our firm throughout the years, is not one of these is better than the other. Not one of these is a retirement plan. I always say, just because you have a 401k doesn't mean you have a retirement plan. It means you have an investment, but you really don't know how that works, and it's not really a plan. It's just one particular investment. So I really believe in when you're sitting down with an advisor, or if you do this yourself, but if you're sitting down with an advisor, they should be doing kind of what I'm doing right now by laying the groundwork. You should make sure you're working with an advisor that has the tools to use each of these things, because each of these investments can be very, very important in your retirement plan. A lot of you guys, when you're approaching retirement, I always joke, you don't want all of your money doing the same thing. If the market drops and all your money goes down, it probably means that you don't have any diversification. If the market's booming, that's great, but also we know the market goes up and down historically. So you want to have different layers of protection. I actually want to pop up this image here. This is from one of the large insurance companies. Again, not created by myself. I just had stumbled upon this and I thought it was a great piece that shows you the different categories, okay? It has from stocks being more aggressive where you're going to get more of your return. There is loss of principal there or potential loss of principal, but it shows you the potential growth rate. And then it goes all the way over to the other end and shows you the banking world. So in between here, it shows you all the different categories of your money and where you might want some of it to be. I know a lot of you, again, if we have $1 million and we're planning for retirement, we might not want all of it in the stock market. You might want maybe 200,000 of it or so, or 300,000 of it or so in some type of insurance product or in some type of cash reserve like a banking product. You typically don't want all of it at risk or all of it too conservative. You want to make sure you have a plan. I always say you want each of your investments to kind of complement each other during these different market events, okay? So I really love that chart. Hopefully you took something away from it. Again, one of our biggest stresses here is not to go out there and buy each of these or tell you which one's the best. But when you're meeting with a financial advisor or you're getting ready to retire, you really need to make sure that you've looked at each of these investments, each of these account types, and realize the 4 different worlds that are out there and make sure you're utilizing some of these that might be a good fit for you for portions of your money, and making sure that there is no golden investment out there where you're going to put all your money in one thing and it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. The most efficient, the best constructed financial plans are typically utilizing maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of these in some cases, depending on your situation. I appreciate you guys stopping by the Financial Beat YouTube channel. I thought that was a great overview of the 4 different places out there where typically people put their money. I look forward to next week. If you haven't yet, again, click subscribe. Head over, check out some of our other videos. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Thanks.